Hey guys, it's Sophie and welcome back to my channel. Yet again, I have another video, and today I'm actually going to be filming a tag video which I have created myself, but also taken inspiration from similar tag videos that were floating around BookTube about this time last year. So I've just called it the mid-year book tag, and there are 10 questions based on what books you love, what books you didn't really love this year, what are you excited for, like what are you reading, all that sort of stuff. Like I would just love to know what everybody's up to or like how they're feeling about their reading this year. So yeah, we'll just jump straight into the questions. Question 1 is, what is the best book that you have read this year so far? I have 2 books, and ironically I had to think about it, and they're both by technically Australian authors, and they're also produced by rather small publishers, but you know, I'm all about that. That is wonderful. So the first book is Carnate by Lynette Noni, and this is a cross between Narnia and Harry Potter, and there's fae, and it's just, oh, it's so kind of whimsical, and it's just wonderful. Like the world building is just seamless. It is a high fantasy, but it reads like an urban fantasy. Like it doesn't feel like you're in a different world. Everything's just pretty seamless, the characters are great, and the story just sucks you in straight away. I've actually read this book twice this year, and it's 450 pages, and I read this in one sitting last night. So yeah, I would highly recommend this one, and yeah, it was a 5-star read for me, obviously. Gabriel and Swallows by Esther Del Seno, and this one is a magical realism set in Italy, but not in the current time, like probably, I think it's meant to be like in the 80s. But yes, this book, what drew me in was the magical realism factor, and that the characters are really realistic, and also the writing is lyrical and just beautiful and incredible. And honestly, as far as writing goes, this is probably the best written book that I have ever read. The writing is just amazing, and I can't wait to pick up Esther Del Seno's other book, Drown. So Carnate and Gabriel and Swallows are my 2 favourite books so far this year. Question number 2 is, what is the most disappointing read of this year? I have 2 disappointing reads, like I have 2 favourites. And the first one was a book that I picked up on NetGalley, and I read the synopsis. I didn't look it up on Goodreads because I'm silly, but I read the synopsis and thought that it sounded really interesting, and I read it and I ended up not finishing it. I got like I think 60% of the way through, and I hated it, and I just couldn't handle the writing, and I just did not care what happened with the characters. It was just really disappointing because it sounded like something that I would like. That book is Gone Wild by Jodie Lundgren, and it is the first book that I've ever DNF'd, and I feel really bad about it. Like maybe later on I'll go back and read it, but I don't think it's likely. Yeah. And the second book that disappointed me wasn't like a huge disappointment, it's just that I'd hyped myself up so much for this book, and friends had recommended it, and like BookTube had hyped it up previously, and I was expecting it to be like blow my socks off, you know, like 5-star read it, and it was like 3.754 at a push, and that is The Scorpio Races by Maggie Stiefvater. Don't get me wrong, I love Maggie Stiefvater's writing, and I thought that the premise of the book was really good, and I did for the most part I did enjoy it, but at the same time it took me like nearly halfway through the book to actually be invested in the characters and to actually want to read. Like I had to push through, and that was really hard. Like I have read The Raven Boys and I haven't had to push through, you know, it's not like it's her writing that's the issue, it's just I just didn't care for the characters, and for me that was a disappointment. Like I'm a horse rider, I love horses, I love stories about horses, and I was hoping that I would absolutely just devour this one and love it, and I didn't, and that sucked. But yeah, so that's my second disappointment so far this year. Question number 3. What is your most anticipated release for the end of 2016? For me, that would probably have to be, or probably Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor, because the synopsis is really mysterious, and I've heard nothing but good things about Laini Taylor's writing, and the cover is just awesome. I'm into not knowing exactly what the book is. Like I'm excited to see. Question number 4 is, have any of your bookish or book related goals changed? For me, yes, I changed my Goodreads challenge. I originally set it for 60 books, thinking that like with uni and work and doing my traineeship and everything, like I wouldn't have much time to read, but I've actually smashed out, like I'm on my 60 64th and 64th book for this year so far. So I have gone past that goal. So actually a couple months ago when I was nearing like the 40 book mark, I increased my Goodreads goal up to 100 books. But if I get close to that goal again, I'll probably boost it up and just see how much I can actually achieve in a year. If you could recommend any book out of the ones you've read this year, what would it be? For me, I'm kind of going to double up on my answers. I would recommend Carnate and Aurelia by Lynette Noni. So this is book 1 and 2 in the 5-book series, The Madoran Chronicles. And as I mentioned before, like Harry Potter, Narnia, like fairy vibes. Oh, they're so good. And this book ends in a ridiculous sort of cliffhangery, tear my heart out like scene and moment. It just, why? But like I can't wait to see where this series goes, and I would highly recommend these two. They are published in Australia. You can get them from the publisher, which is Pantera Press. I'll also put links down below because it is a bit hard to get your hands on if you're not Australian. But yeah, I would definitely recommend picking these up. They're incredible. The storyline is just like, it just goes places that you kind of wouldn't expect it to, and the characters are fantastic. They're really great. And yeah, so I would recommend these two books for anyone that's interested in fantasy or anything like that. Definitely pick these ones up. Question number 6 is, what books are on your immediate TBR? So starting off with the book that I'm actually like 2/3 of the way through is The Selection by Kira Cass. So I've got like 120 pages or something left, and I started this one last night, and it's just a guilty pleasure read, and I haven't read it before, and I actually really like it. I don't know, I so far haven't had any issues with America as the voice of the story, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm really liking it so far. Next on my TBR is Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. I want to read this one before the movie comes out in June, so I need to get on this one pretty quickly. Hopefully, even though it's quite large, hopefully I can fly through it because it is like a contemporary novel. Another book that I'm really excited to finally read, and that is Air of Fire by Sarah J Maas. I have put off reading this and Queen of Shadows because I flew through the first two, and I just knew that if I read them all at once, I'd be having like a Sarah J Maas like withdrawal symptoms, and yeah, I've kind of put these off till now. So I'm gonna read this one now, and then Queen of Shadows sometime before Empire of Storms comes out. But yeah, it's another large book, and I kind of want to read these before the end of May, so we'll see how that goes. Next up is question 7. Pick a book or a book cover that suits the season where you are. Here in Australia, we're kind of coming up to the end of May, so we're kind of on the cusp of autumn and winter. So I have 2 book covers. Again, I have lots of double answers for these, but I have 2 book covers to show you. So I'll start off with my autumn cover, and for autumn, I love this cover just because every time I've been driving home from work lately, there's been this gorgeous sunset, and I don't know, like that pretty sunset colour, this just reminds me of it, and like the autumny colours and, you know, the purpling leaves, and yeah, to me it just feels really autumny. So that's, yeah, Stonefield by Christy Lindsay, which is in my April book haul if you want to know more about that one. And for my winter book cover slash book in general is pretty obvious. So like Ashes by Sarah Rush, and I just love like the silvery grey, and like I know it's meant to be sort of, it looks kind of like ashes, but it just reminds me of snow, and I really like it. Like the trees in here, and I don't know, for me it's just a really, like, I just really like it. Yeah, so they're my 2 covers that match the season that it is here. So yeah, if you're in America, feel free to look at summer or spring depending on when you film this. And question number 8 is your favourite book cover that's either come out this year or is going to be coming out this year. So again, I have like a huge answer, and that's kind of ridiculous, but yeah. So number 1, The Raven King by Maggie Stiefvater, and for obvious reasons, like I love the paint-like effects, I love the blue, I really like it, and I think it's really creative and true to the story. Another one that's very different from The Raven King, but still a really nice cover, is Wink Poppy Midnight by April Genevieve Tucholk or Tuholke. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I should have looked it up. But yeah, if you have a look, like I love the font, but there's also like all these like birds and like there's a snake and, you know, spiderweb. It's just, I just like how it's quite detailed and like, yeah, I really like that. I just love the combination of the font and the small pictures. There's nothing big to like jump out at you, but it still gets the message across. And I'd have to say that my favorite book cover of this year is something that not a lot of people actually have. I've not really seen anyone do a review or anyone really talk about this book on BookTube, but I'm really excited for it. It's The Revenge in the Wild by Michelle Modesto, and if you have a look, like I love the font, just the gold and the swirliness, and if you have a look, it's like almost like a screen. It's burnt like a screen or something. So you see this other picture and it's also like burning up. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but I really like the way that it works. It's really pretty, and yeah, it kind of continues on the back. And even though this is kind of cheating, it's not the actual cover, but it's got like, well, it's got like blood spots here. If you have a look underneath, it's got like cool blood spots, which I think is really cool. Plus, you know, should number 9 is, what is your favourite new author that you've discovered? So this could be an author that's a debut author, it could be an author that's new to you. I just would love to know, like, what's your favourite new author you've discovered? For me, that is definitely Lynette Noni, who I mentioned before wrote Carnate and Raelia, and I've actually met her in person, and yeah, she's just lovely. And yeah, so I actually didn't show you guys, but both of my books are signed. So that's Carnate and that's Raelia. So, you know, I have met her and I think she's lovely, and I think her writing is really imaginative and creative, and I just love the way that her story develops, and her character development's quite realistic. Like, you know, she doesn't just make her characters just this awesome expert, like it develops quite naturally, and yeah, she's just a wonderful storyteller and it's fantastic. So yeah, Lynette Noni is definitely my favourite new author that I have discovered this year. Question number 10 is to tag someone else. I'm going to tag Samantha from Thoughts on Times and Haley from Hales Hearts NYC. Or the reason I'm tagging Haley is because she did a tag last year called the Mid-Year Freakout tag, which had sort of similar questions to this one. And she sort of inspired me to do this, and also Lovely Like Laura. So yeah, just a few people that I would love to know like their favourites from this year, because I loved learning about it last year. If you guys are interested in doing this tag, definitely go for it, and you should tell me down below in the comments and let me know so I can go check it out. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!